Hey y'all, it's Nancy the Handy Scandy. Welcome back for another crafty venture. Hey y'all, good morning. Welcome in, welcome back. If you have been with me for a while, welcome. If it's your first time, I thank you all for joining me. I just have a couple card shares that I wanted to bring to you real quick, but I just wanted to share these 3 cards with you. So I'm going to set them aside and we'll start with the first one. I'll show you the products that I used. So for this first one, I love it. It's very rugged. It's kind of a wildernessy, outdoorsy kind of vibe. I love it. So we have this deerie, which is from this stamp set from Impression Obsession. And across the background, I used, oh, let me see, that is from, it's this stamp right here, Walking in a Winter Wonderland. I just used that to kind of add some interest to the background. So I heat embossed it and then I painted it with Vintage Photo. And then I came back in with some markers just to add some definition. And then I ink blended. I just used a stitch circle die to die cut him out. And then on this little panel, you can see that I stamped the sprig, the pine sprig there. And I just stamped it repeatedly and made this tiny little background. And then of course I ink blended that. I stamped actually in black, but I came back in with Vintage Photo and I think it was Bundled Sage. So I added the green and the brown to it, and I like that differentiation where this one has the brown to coordinate with the others, but it has a green, so it makes it pop. But this panel is different. I don't know how well you can tell, but it's 3D, but it's not embossed. What I did was I die cut these out, no, these 3, out of just some craft cardstock. I cut out 1,000,000, as you can see, and I glued them on randomly, and then I ink blended over the top so that it gave some definition to some of those branches. And then I layered it up and I added this fun little detail, if you will, with the brown baker's twine and the little rusty wooden snowflake. And then on the inside, I did some more splatter. I did the deer, the Walking in a Winter Wonderland. And then this little detail right here, this little pierced stitching detail, is from this die from Whimsy. It's the Straight Edgers die set. And it just, some of them do have, well, I guess they all do have. The middle blade there, well, it's actually a blade. So here you've got the double stitched, and then you've got kind of the zigzag. Not quite a rickrack, but almost. But then there's a die that will cut it in the middle. I just wanted the impression because these really just impress the stitching. So this rickrack will cut apart from this row of stars if you use that on your project. But I typically, if I just want the edge, and you can't see it, but I did it on this one as well, and it's this loopy circle one that I did on here, and I don't know if you can see it. It's very, very subtle, but here you can see it. And what I did was I just butted that cutting blade up against the edge. So just like that. So that the cutting blade is on the outside and it doesn't actually cut the card. So then I just get the impression. And you could do it either way. So I have to tape it down. I'm sure a magnetic sheet, what are they called? That layer of your die cutting sandwich would likely hold it in place. I don't know. I've never really used one. But that is how I made this card. So I did tape that in place and then I ran it through, and that left me with that die cut impression. The pierce, but on the back side it's there as well. It's just the back side. But then some more splatter, another dearie, and then the Made with Love. And I, just like the other handmade stamp, it's that middle that I never get quite right. So I have not signed this one yet. I guess I can go ahead and sign it real quick. There's a lot of a lot of bulk there. But anyway, there is that woodsy style of card. And then I have this snowman one that I absolutely love. This again is using that stamp set from Tim Holtz, the Mr. Frosty. And I stamped and heat embossed him, and then I painted him. So I'm not sure where my stencil is, but I've used Versamark to put through the stencil, and then I white heat embossed the pattern, and this was on a white watercolor card panel. So at the time it was white on white, so you could barely see it, but once it started to heat up and you turn it into light, you could see where the heat embossing was versus where it was just the raw cardstock or watercolor card. So I heat embossed it, then I brought in my Distress Spray stains, which I've already put away. I can't remember the colors that I used. I know one was Bundled Sage, but the rest I'm not sure. This is the result that I got. Once I sprayed it with water, it all just kind of blurred into one greeny gray color, which is fine with me. It looks like a gray snowstorm. So some of the painting isn't perfect, and some of that background bled into him, but it doesn't bother me. I still think that it just has a lot of interest. He's a very characterful, if that even makes sense, very characterful snowman. I love him. Even though his facial expression is kind of vacant, I don't know, I just love him. Anyway, and then I just added this little layer right here because I wanted to pull out the red in his belt there, which probably is weird, but that's what I did. And then I used these dies from Whimsy. So this is the layer, and this layer you can't really see probably on camera, but it's like a sweater, like a cream colored sweater print on the cardstock or the pattern paper. And then I used this one with the stitching to die cut this layer out. So then on the inside, I just did another layer with the sweater. Can you see? It's kind of it's not really a cable knit, but anyway, it's a textile. And then I added some more of that red, and then on the back side, I brought some more of the red and a piece of that little, what is that called? Lace, and another button there. So that is this card. It's unusual. We don't typically see top fold mini slimline cards, but I thought that was fun. So I just cut two of the same size, and then I scored it at, I think that's probably 1/4 of an inch. And then I adhered it together there at the top where that score line is, and that's what allows it to kind of have a hinge to open. So that is card number 2. And then we will switch to card number 3. And this stamp uses the Diana Markham set again. So I use this stamp, and then I've got this guy on there as well. So I stamped him out and I colored him up. I used my, what watercolors did I use that day? I think it was my Arteza 36 half pan set again. And then the pattern papers, I have had this set in my stash for years. I'm sure some of you have it as well. It's very sweet. And I used this one, and the other one is not represented here, but it is this green. Can you see the pattern? It's just like a little leafy pattern. These are double-sided, so you know, you always have to sacrifice one for the other, but that didn't break my heart to sacrifice those. So anyway, I do apologize that I don't have a larger piece, at least not at hand, to show you, but I think it's easy enough to see. So I like the little plaid. I like the brighter colors. Like this is a departure from me, from my normal vintagey, grungy vibe, but I think it's really pretty and fun. So I like the Holly Jolly. That was a freebie from scrapbook.com a couple of years ago. I think it's been 2 years. I don't know. Oh, 2021. So it's been more than 2 years, but it was a freebie, and I really like it. I think it's sweet. And then I use these dies, which I have been using a lot lately. These are from Spellbinders. They're Nestabilities Labels 1. So this Labels 1 is one of my favorites. Yeah, Nestabilities Labels 1. I bought these used on Facebook when I first got back into stamping, probably in 2018, 2019. And yeah, I really like them. So I used the largest, the second largest, and the third largest. So really I've used all of them, almost all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I used them all but the smallest. So that's kind of fun. I like the way they layered up. I just added this basically square layer. It's a 3x3 square of the same cardstock from Stampin' Up. This red is from Stampin' Up. I think it's Cherry Cobbler. But I just felt like this pattern behind that, it just needed some separation. So I added that solid just to have a place for the eye to rest. And there's a whole lot of solid red on here, which is unusual. Like there's no extra pattern, there's no extra stamping, there's no splatter, there's none of that. But my eye is liking that clean look. So I'm not sure what it is about this card that it told me it wanted to be clean versus the grungy ones. But there we have it. So I die cut this little tiny little tag. I just wanted to add some embellishment. And then I have this Believe. So the tag is this teeny tiny little guy from this set from Tim Holtz. And the Believe is from this set from Anna White and Impression Obsession. And I just have a bunch of them die cut out. They're just tucked in there. Some of them are out of chipboard. Some of them are out of white cardstock. Some of them are layered up. Some of them are one layer. It just depends. And then I also added this little charm, and they're all in that bulb pin, and I just thought that was really sweet. Loving this little white lace, which this is more a thicker white lace, but I think all of that whole panel of solid red, clean solid red, allowed for this. Does that make sense? And then just kind of married these together by layering the sentiment on top of that. And then on the inside, I just layered some of the pattern paper, same on the back, and I stamped that cute little guy from the stamp set, and I've signed it. And that is it. That's that sweet card. So very different from my norm. I don't mind taking a departure here and there. I kind of like it. And I love the clean and simple style. Excuse me, let me have a sip of my cuppa. 2 sippas. I don't know if you can see this mug. Isn't that cute? It's from Anthropologie. It was one of my, I didn't buy much on Black Friday, but I bought this. It's super cute. And it just arrived in the mail yesterday. So anyway, taking another departure. These are my 3 cards to share with you on this beautiful Wednesday morning. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. I hope you have a fantastic weekend coming up. And I will be bringing you some slimline products from Whimsy for my first giveaway as I do my D-stash. And I just encourage you, if you've not already subscribed and hit that bell, go ahead so you're alerted when that video goes live, because it won't be long. So, but I'm just going to do it in bits and pieces as I go through my stuff and as I'm ready to do it. That's it, and I'm not on any specific timeline. So make sure you've hit that bell button so you're alerted. So again, this is all I have for you guys. Thank you for spending time with me. I will be back sooner than later. And until then, be well, and I'll see you next time. Bye.